Graceland's forbidden attic has finally cracked open after 50 years, and the ghostly treasures it revealed, Elvis's patched teddy bear, unheard deathbed recordings, even letters begging him to slow down, prove that the King's Palace can still stun the world. But Elvis's mansion isn't the only Hollywood estate shrouded in unsettling secrets. Join us as we explore 25 abandoned celebrity mansions, each unsellable, even for just $1. Including the decaying homes of Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson, and Nicolas Cage. What dark secrets and disturbing histories keep buyers away from these once glamorous estates? Let's find out. Graceland, Elvis Presley. Hidden within the sprawling estate of Graceland lies a mansion shrouded in both legend and tragedy, a palatial home once belonging to Elvis Presley, the undisputed king of rock and roll. Purchased in 1957 by a young meteoric Elvis for $102,500, nearly $1 million today, this iconic property near Memphis soon became synonymous with his glittering, turbulent life. The nearly 14-acre estate was a vibrant tapestry of lavish excess, boasting stables and pastures for horses, robust barns, and peculiar residents such as Scatter, Elvis's mischievous chimpanzee, famously known for elaborate pranks on guests. Inside the mansion, rooms like the Jungle Room revealed Elvis's playful extravagance, adorned with green shag carpeting climbing the walls and exotic furniture evoking distant lands. In contrast, the serene meditation garden stood as a tranquil counterpoint, filled with fountains, vibrant flowers, and imposing columns, a peaceful refuge from his tumultuous fame. Yet Graceland holds darker secrets. Beneath its glamour lies a haunting narrative, notably marked by Elvis's tragic death on August 16, 1977. Found unconscious in his private bathroom, Elvis's passing triggered global grief and widespread speculation. Officially declared dead from cardiac arrhythmia, but whispers of darker truths about his drug use and chronic health issues persisted, creating an aura of mystery around his sudden demise. After Elvis's death, parts of Graceland, particularly the second floor and attic, were inexplicably sealed. For nearly 5 decades, the attic door remained untouched, fueling countless rumors of sinister secrets hidden within. Even presidents were barred entry. Visitors gazed upward, endlessly speculating about what might justify such obsessive secrecy. In 2025, the attic was finally unlocked. What lay beyond its creaking door stunned even seasoned archivists. This expansive space, starkly different from Graceland's flamboyant interiors, was meticulously organized, each section preserving intimate fragments of Elvis's life. Boxes labeled in Elvis's distinctive handwriting chronicled phases from his humble beginnings in Tupelo to his Hollywood stardom, military service, and infamous Las Vegas performances. Among the most poignant discoveries was a worn teddy bear, patched lovingly by Elvis's mother during their impoverished years, symbolizing his fragile youth. Most chilling were the unopened fan letters, desperate pleas ignored amid Elvis's deteriorating health. A particular letter begged Elvis to abandon his punishing tour schedule, a request tragically never read. Even after nearly 50 years, Graceland remains a mansion no one dares to fully claim. Attempts to auction it off mysteriously fail, lawsuits erupt, conspiracies about Elvis's fate persist. What secrets does this iconic home still conceal? Why do its haunting whispers deter even the bravest buyers? Want a backstage pass to Elvis's newly unlocked attic? Donate at $2 below and we'll build an exclusive Graceland attic tour, just for you guys. Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch. From the moment Michael Jackson envisioned Neverland, it was more than just a home. It was a fantasy made real, a sanctuary carved from childlike wonder. Spanning an astounding 2,700 acres in Santa Barbara County, California, this sprawling estate was designed to be the ultimate escape, a place where the king of pop could truly be himself, surrounded by the joy and innocence he so deeply cherished. Think beyond a mere mansion, imagine a private amusement park woven into the very fabric of the landscape. Picture the gleaming rails of a private railway line, complete with its own charming train station, ready to whisk guests away on a magical journey through the meticulously manicured grounds. Envision a 50-seat movie theater where dreams flickered to life on the silver screen, echoing with laughter and applause. Recall the vibrant amusement ride area, alive with the thrilling sounds of carousels and Ferris wheels, where the world's biggest pop star could ride alongside children unburdened by the crushing weight of fame. This wasn't just a house, it was a living, breathing fairy tale, a testament to unbridled imagination and limitless resources. But then the music stopped, the laughter faded, and after 2009, Neverland, once a beacon of joy, became a silent, haunting relic. The gates closed, sealing off a world that had lost its maestro. What remains is a profound emptiness. The animal enclosures, once teeming with exotic life, now stand hollow and silent, ghostly cages whispering tales of a vanished kingdom. The once vibrant gardens, meticulously tended, are now being devoured by wild, untamed weeds, their beauty choked by neglect, mirroring perhaps the wild rumors and accusations that ultimately consumed its owner. This wasn't just a property, it was a dream abandoned. And like many abandoned dreams, it became a financial drain, a monstrous entity demanding constant tribute. The maintenance costs alone are staggering, over $50,000 per month, a relentless drain on resources for a place no one wants to own. It was listed at a staggering $100 million, a price tag that reflected its unique history and expansive amenities. Yet year after year it sat a ghost in the market. The price dropped dramatically, a desperate plea to find a new steward for this forlorn kingdom, finally settling at $31 million, a colossal 69% reduction, yet still no one came forward to claim it. Why? Was it the immense cost of upkeep, a burden that would humble even the wealthiest? Or was it something more, a lingering stigma from the controversies that shrouded its creator? Neverland stands today not just as an abandoned mansion, but as a poignant symbol of lost innocence, the crushing weight of public scrutiny, and the tragic end of a once beautiful vision. It's a place where the ghosts of childhood dreams play among the overgrown weeds, a silent, echoing question mark in the landscape of celebrity legacy. 50 Cent's Connecticut mansion. In the past, rapper 50 Cent learned a harsh lesson. Bigger is not always better. His Connecticut mansion was not merely large, it was a behemoth, a 50,000 square foot fortress boasting 21 bedrooms and 25 bathrooms. Imagine the sheer scale. It even had its own private nightclub, where the beats undoubtedly reverberated through the night, a testament to his celebrity status. Purchased for $4.1 million, this mansion became a financial millstone around his neck. For years, 50 Cent desperately tried to offload it, constantly dropping the price from its initial listing of $18.5 million in 2007. The sheer cost of maintaining such a colossal property was astronomical. Heating alone during winter could easily exceed the average person's entire mortgage payment. It became a symbol of unsustainable luxury, a gilded cage of expenses. Finally, in 2019, after years of trying, it sold for a mere $2.9 million, an astonishing 84% reduction from its original asking price. This mansion stands as a chilling cautionary tale, underscoring the brutal reality that even with immense wealth, some assets become liabilities, and the grandest displays of success can often lead to the most spectacular financial downfalls. Nicolas Cage's LaLaurie Mansion. If some mansions whisper of financial ruin, others shriek with the echoes of a tortured past. Nicolas Cage, known for his eccentric tastes, once sought to own a piece of history, purchasing an ancient mansion in New Orleans built in 1832. He bought it perhaps with the romantic notion of living amidst history, but what he acquired was something far more sinister, one of America's most notoriously haunted houses. This is not just a story of neglect, but of a truly gruesome legacy. The mansion was once owned by Madame Delphine LaLaurie, a socialite whose name is synonymous with unspeakable cruelty. In the 19th century, she engaged in demented torture of enslaved people, leaving a horrific stain on the property. Her atrocities led to her fleeing New Orleans, but the stories of tortured souls haunting the very walls remained, refusing to be silenced. Despite Cage pouring millions into renovations, adding luxuries like an Olympic-sized swimming pool and a grand staircase. The house remained cursed. Selling it in 2009 for $7.8 million proved an arduous task, precisely because of its ghostly legacy. This is a property where the past refuses to stay buried, manifesting in chilling phenomena. Strange footsteps echo in empty hallways, doors creak open and shut on their own, and lights flicker on and off seemingly at will. It has become a magnet for paranormal investigators and ghost hunting shows, a chilling testament to the enduring power of historical trauma and the belief that some evils never truly die. Nicolas Cage's mansion is a grim reminder that some houses carry a burden far heavier than their market value, a burden of human suffering etched into their very foundation. Whitney Houston's New Jersey mansion. From the spectral to the sorrowful, we turn to the New Jersey mansion of the incomparable Whitney Houston, a home that once glittered with the vibrant spirit of a true legend. This property, spanning 5 acres, seemed plucked from a fairy tale, a picture of domestic bliss. It boasted a private movie theater, where perhaps she watched her own iconic performances, and a personal recording studio undoubtedly echoing with the practice sessions of that unparalleled voice. There was even a private hair salon, a testament to the luxurious pampering of a global superstar. The 500-square-foot estate, originally purchased in 1987 as a guest house, was transformed into a lavish primary residence. The centerpiece was its magnificent indoor swimming pool, a dazzling aquatic retreat alongside an arcade room filled with 1980s video games, reflecting a playful, perhaps nostalgic, side of the superstar. This was a home brimming with life, music, and the promise of a bright future. But then tragedy struck. Following Houston's heartbreaking and untimely death in 2012, the mansion itself faced a formidable battle on the market. Even though it had been sold in 2010 for over $900,000, when it was relisted at $1.6 million, potential buyers became wary. The house, much like its owner's legacy, now carried a profound stigma linked to its tragic past. It wasn't just a property, it was the site of a national heartbreak, an unbearable shadow cast over its luxurious amenities. The mansion of Whitney Houston stands as a poignant, painful reminder that even the most celebrated lives can end in sorrow, and that pain can permeate the very walls of a home, making it almost impossible to sell, tainted by the ghosts of what once was. Britney Spears' abandoned mansions, Louisiana and Thousand Oaks. Once upon a time, Britney Spears owned not just one, but 2 dreamlike palaces. Each now stands as a silent monument to the dizzying heights and painful depths of pop stardom. Deep in the Louisiana countryside, her Disney castle rises with grand turrets and immense windows, a home designed for fairy tales. Inside, Britney crafted her private world, a dance studio where mirrors reflected ambition, a media room fit for spectacular premieres, and a game room echoing with carefree laughter. But the enchantment faded. The ornate fountain is now bone dry, and wild weeds have invaded gardens that once flourished under a princess's touch. Neighbors speak of the day the music stopped, as if someone simply vanished mid-dream, leaving only shadows behind. Potential buyers are drawn to the beauty but quickly retreat, whispering about a lingering curse, heartbreak, or something more. Thousands of miles away in sun-baked California, her Thousand Oaks mansion tells a parallel story of lost glamour and growing neglect. Abandoned in 2019, amid Britney's battles for freedom, the Italianate villa sprawls across 20 acres, its faded grandeur now overrun by time. The pool, once sparkling with life, has become a stagnant basin for forgotten toys. Sun-bleached loungers sit askew, and the lush lawn has withered to brittle yellow. This house, too, is more than walls and windows. It is a silent witness to her legal struggles, private pain, and public captivity. Despite its beauty, buyers turn away, sensing the sorrow imprinted in every room. Whispers persist that Britney may one day reclaim her lost palaces, but until then, both mansions remain trapped in limbo, haunting, unsold, and echoing with the dreams and secrets of a pop legend still searching for her own happy ending. Would you ever want to spend a night in one of these abandoned celebrity mansions? Comment yes if you're curious, no if you'd never dare. Mel Gibson's Costa Rica beach resort. Mel Gibson's secret hideaway on the Costa Rican coast should be paradise incarnate. 7 sumptuous villas nestled between the rainforest and a turquoise sea, a sprawling private beach, 3 infinity pools shimmering in the sun, and even a helipad for secret arrivals. Next door, the cries of monkeys echo from a protected sanctuary, blurring the line between wild and luxurious. But today, the estate sits abandoned, locked away behind rusting gates and whispering palm trees. Local legends swirl. Some say strange lights flicker at night. Others swear the jungle is reclaiming the guest houses, vines strangling forgotten dreams. The cost to keep it running would bankrupt most mortals, but money alone can't explain the silence. What drove Mel Gibson to walk away from this tropical Eden? Why does it repel buyers even with millions shaved from the price tag? What secrets do the empty pools and echoing villas hide, and what story waits to be discovered in this lost paradise? Mike Tyson's Ohio mansion. Step into the ring with the former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson and his 25,000 square foot mansion in Ohio, a fortress built for a king, yet now a crumbling monument to a different kind of knockout. This was a house that roared with the excess and unbridled confidence of its owner. Imagine the sheer audacity of its design. Bathrooms featuring real gold faucets and handles, glittering like the championship belts Tyson once amassed. A colossal swimming pool, vast enough to stage its own aquatic boxing matches, shimmered under the Ohio sky. But perhaps most famously and most controversially were the tiger cages, where Mike Tyson once housed his beloved, formidable pets. This was a home that wasn't just lived in. It was a statement, a gilded cage for a man who lived larger than life. It even boasted an indoor basketball court, spacious enough to hold 1,000 spectators, a testament to the sheer scale of the champ's world. Every detail screamed unbridled success, raw power, and an almost childlike indulgence in the spoils of victory. But like a boxer who takes one too many blows, this mansion too began to falter. After Tyson's well-documented financial struggles and personal battles, the mansion fell into a desolate silence. It was listed at $7.5 million, a price that reflected its former glory and lavish features. Yet the market wasn't biting. The price tumbled, a sad descent, mirroring Tyson's own financial freefall, dropping to a mere $1.3 million, an astounding 83% reduction. Yet it remained stubbornly unsold. Today, the mansion tells a story of decay that is almost poetic in its tragedy. Trees now brazenly grow through the very tennis courts where perhaps champions once volleyed, their roots cracking through the asphalt, a visceral image of nature reclaiming what man once dominated. The once sparkling, expansive swimming pool has transformed into a murky, stagnant green abyss, a pool of forgotten grandeur, its inviting waters now a chilling swamp. This is not just an abandoned house, it is a haunting echo of a titan's reign, a stark reminder that even the greatest wealth and power can erode, leaving behind only the crumbling vestiges of a golden age. The Mike Tyson mansion stands as a potent symbol of the transience of glory, the perils of unchecked excess, and the bitter reality of a fall from grace. It invites contemplation on the very nature of success, and what remains when the roar of the crowd fades, leaving only the rustle of leaves and the creep of decay. David Letterman's former ranch, tucked away in Montana's wild heart, David Letterman's 108-acre ranch looks like a frontier fantasy. A sprawling log lodge, 6 hidden guest cabins, a vast lake glinting like a lost jewel, and a barn brimming with classic cars. There's even a giant treehouse so big it could shelter a family of giants, rumored to have been Letterman's personal sanctuary. But the silence here is thick, almost sacred. For years, the property has stubbornly resisted new ownership. What keeps buyers away from this tranquil paradise? Some say it's simply too vast, too perfect. Others whisper the lake reflects more than just the mountains. It holds the secrets of the celebrities who once retreated there, yearning for escape. The paths are overgrown, the treehouse locked. What stories are trapped in this peaceful wilderness, waiting for someone brave enough to listen? Nellie's Wildwood, Missouri mansion. At the edge of Wildwood, Missouri, rapper Nellie's Tuscan-style mansion is wrapped in legend and layered in mystery. Built to be flipped for quick profit, the grand home soon became a ghost, its lavish halls echoing with absence for nearly 20 years. Its red-tiled roof and stuccoed walls faded beneath seasons of neglect, and its grand arched entryway guarded nothing but silence. What stopped Nelly from finishing his plans? Why did so many prospective buyers turn away year after year as if repelled by some invisible force? In 2021, the mansion finally sold at a shocking loss to a mysterious religious group rumored to be a secretive cult. The air thickened with speculation. What rites might be performed within those walls? Was the property cursed, or was it merely waiting for someone with the nerve to unlock its secrets? Today, the mansion stands under new, enigmatic ownership. Neighbors avoid the long driveway and children dare each other to peek through the iron gates, whispering that Wildwood now has its own haunted castle, one whose true story is still unfolding, just out of sight. Madonna's Hidden Hills Mansion. In the gated enclave of Hidden Hills, Madonna's mansion stands as a surreal, luxurious temple to pop culture, and now a riddle no one can solve. Once the playground of the Queen of Pop, this estate is filled with eccentric grandeur. A private screening room lined with velvet where Madonna once reviewed her own music video masterpieces. A vast mirrored ballroom echoing with the memory of midnight dance rehearsals. And 7 opulent bedrooms, each crafted with the precision of a 5-star hotel suite. The legendary M-shaped swimming pool sparkles in the sunlight, while the tennis court transforms, at the press of a button, into a sprawling dance floor ready for parties that never seem to arrive. Most extravagant of all is the wine cellar, a labyrinth of 10,000 bottles, silent now, its shelves gathering dust instead of laughter and clinking glasses. Rumor has it that even at the height of her reign, Madonna roamed the mansion's halls alone, seeking inspiration in its echoing silence. Today the estate is unsold and untouched, a gilded cage whose lavish comforts have become its own curse. Prospective buyers come and go, all daunted by the price of upkeep and whispers of impossible standards. Who could ever live up to Madonna herself? The mansion waits, half shrine, half shadow, daring anyone to unlock its next chapter. On a scale from 0 to 5, how spooky do you think the secrets hidden in Elvis Presley's attic really are? 0 equals sign, not scary at all. 5 equals sign, absolutely terrifying. Let us know your rating below. And Tommy Lee's Calabasas Mansion. Tucked in the canyons of Calabasas, Tommy Lee's mansion was designed as a rock star's sanctuary. 10,000 square feet of eccentric luxury, crowned with a glass atrium, an indoor waterfall, and rooftop views that stretch forever. But beyond the architectural marvel, a darker legend grew. Lee's wife publicly confessed to feeling haunted by inexplicable phenomena. Lights flickering, doors creaking open at midnight, the hush of ghostly footsteps in the marble halls. The stories spread like wildfire, and soon the house itself was shrouded in a reputation as unshakable as its foundation. The price plummeted by millions, and buyers vanished as quickly as they arrived. Real estate agents struggled to explain why such a stunning home was so impossible to sell. Was it the rumors of spirits, the restless energy, or the undeniable sense that something simply wasn't right? Today the mansion sits empty, its waterfall dry, its once vibrant rooms gathering dust. Would you dare spend a night where even the bravest rock legends felt unwelcome? Or is this house destined to be the forever haunted heart of Calabasas? Muhammad Hadid's Bel Air Mega Mansion. The ambitious mega mansion project of Muhammad Hadid, father to supermodels Gigi and Bella Hadid, morphed into a nearly decade-long legal nightmare. Initially permitted for 14,000 square feet, it ballooned to an unauthorized 30,000 square feet by 2014, far exceeding its building permits. The city of Los Angeles revoked his permits, issued a stop work order, and sentenced Hadid to community service. Neighbors sued over structural safety concerns, famously dubbing the half-finished monstrosity the Starship Enterprise. This stands as a stark warning that even the most ambitious projects can collapse into legal and financial disaster. Courtney Love's Olympia, Washington retreat. Perched atop the hills of Bel Air, Muhammad Hadid's would-be palace became the very definition of a Hollywood nightmare. What started as an audacious dream, 30,000 square feet of ultra-modern excess, more spaceship than home, spiraled into scandal and ruin. Construction crews worked day and night, pouring concrete, raising glass walls, creating infinity pools with views that touched the sky. But Hadid's ambition outran the law. The city shut the project down, citing illegal expansions and threats to neighboring mansions. Lawsuits erupted, neighbors fumed, and the unfinished behemoth was left exposed to the elements, half-built and abandoned. Locals call it the Starship Enterprise, a testament to hubris, a warning to would-be titans. Wind howls through its empty halls, and trespassers tell of eerie creaks and groans, as if the mansion itself mourns its unfinished destiny. Not even the promise of a billion-dollar view can entice a buyer. Here, in the shadow of Hollywood's wealth, stands a fortress that proved even empires can crumble overnight. Love this video? Show some love with a like and a subscribe. Hate it? A like would still be awesome, and your feedback in the comments will help me improve. Steve Jobs' Jackling House. The Jackling House in Woodside, California once stood as a silent battleground between legacy and innovation. Steve Jobs, obsessed with progress, saw the historic Spanish-style mansion as an obstacle, a relic of another era. But the house refused to go quietly. For over a decade it sat empty, its grand halls gathering dust, while Jobs fought a bitter legal war to demolish it. Preservationists called it a masterpiece, but even as it decayed, balconies crumbling, marble bathrooms going to ruin, the staircase warped by years of neglect, it clung to its place in the sun. The estate became a symbol of the cost of obsession, millions spent, years lost, and a home that became less a house than a ghostly monument to battles fought and won. The house was finally torn down in the very last year of Jobs' life, its secrets buried with him. But for those who wandered its empty halls, the sense of being watched remained. Did the ghost of history linger, unwilling to yield to Silicon Valley's march? Or did Jobs' own restless spirit leave a mark, one no bulldozer could erase? Liza Minnelli's childhood home. Hidden in the old hills of Hollywood, Liza Minnelli's childhood estate is now more haunted memory than home. Built in 1925, this mansion was once the stage for legendary parties thrown by her father, Vincente Minnelli, and the cherished refuge of a family at the heart of showbiz royalty. After Vincente's death, the property fell into a legal labyrinth. Liza inherited it, but a final wish allowed her father's last wife, Lee, to remain. When Lee stubbornly refused to leave, the house withered in limbo, and after her passing in 2009, no one returned to restore its faded grandeur. Urban explorers tell of stepping through broken gates into rooms frozen in time, ornate wallpaper peeling like old stage makeup, grand pianos collecting dust, and old film reels scattered across the floors. Ghost stories cling to its walls. Neighbors claim to hear faint jazz drifting through shattered windows, and some say Liza herself refuses to drive by. The estate, once a glittering symbol of Hollywood's golden era, has become a tattered shrine to lost fame, its legends echoing louder than any offer that dares arrive. Boris Becker's Mallorca property. Beneath the Spanish sun, tennis legend Boris Becker's Mallorca estate was once a symbol of victory. Now, it's a warning written in stone and shadow. Becker transformed the property into a sprawling compound. A Moroccan-inspired main house, stables, basketball and tennis courts, guest houses, even Wimbledon memorabilia. But behind the gates, a darker story unfolded. The house was plagued by lawsuits, illegal construction, unpaid debts, and workers left empty-handed. The legal drama outlasted the parties, and when Becker's empire collapsed in bankruptcy and disgrace, the mansion was seized and abandoned. Today, wild grass grows where Becker once practiced his serve. Vandals have left their mark, and the grand pool is little more than a breeding ground for insects. Locals whisper about strange lights at night and mysterious visitors who disappear before sunrise. The estate stands empty, a monument to fleeting fortune, its silence echoing with every serve and scandal that brought it to ruin. Some say it's cursed. Others just shake their heads and walk by, knowing that not all victories end with a trophy. The Elvis death mystery. Then came the day that cleaved history into two, August 16th, 1977. Elvis Presley was found unconscious in his private bathroom at Graceland, the very sanctuary he had called his own. His girlfriend, Ginger Alden, stirred around 2 p.m., finding Elvis still in bed, a common sight. But as the afternoon wore on, an unsettling quiet pervaded the house. Around 2:30 p.m., Ginger's knock on the bathroom door yielded no reply. Pushing it open, she discovered the horrifying truth. Elvis lay on the floor, his pajama bottoms tangled around his ankles, his face an unnatural blue. Her screams pierced the oppressive silence. Joe Esposito, Elvis's road manager and confidant, raced upstairs, immediately initiating CPR while an ambulance was summoned. Paramedics arrived within minutes, their desperate efforts to revive him continuing as they sped towards Baptist Memorial Hospital, sirens wailing through the sweltering Memphis streets. But by 3:30 p.m., the unthinkable became official. Elvis Presley, the king, was dead. The news detonated across the globe. Radio stations abruptly halted their programming. Fans, unmoored by grief, collapsed in tears. How could the king, at such a tragically young age, simply be gone? Did you hear about Elvis Presley's sudden death on August 16, 1977? Comment yes if you heard the news, then no if you didn't, and don't look away, because more shocking details are coming soon. That same evening, Dr. Jerry Francisco faced the press with a blunt announcement. Elvis had died of cardiac arrhythmia. Natural causes, he insisted. Case closed. But for many, it didn't add up. In 1977, Elvis's shocking physical decline was impossible to ignore. Once lean and electric, he had swelled to nearly 260 pounds. His concerts had become unsettling. He forgot lyrics, rambled on stage, and at times struggled just to stand. Behind closed doors, the autopsy told a far grimmer story. His heart was dangerously enlarged, his liver swollen, and his body bore the damage of prolonged drug abuse. When the toxicology report was finally released, it shattered the illusion. Toxicology reports revealed his body was overwhelmed by a dangerous cocktail of high-potency painkillers and sedatives, some prescribed in staggering quantities. The truth was horrifying. The piercing question that haunted the public and medical community alike was, why did Dr. Francisco lie? Some speculated it was a desperate, if misguided, attempt to safeguard Elvis's pristine legacy and spare his grieving family further anguish. Others harbored a far more cynical belief that the cover-up was a monstrous conspiracy, designed not just to protect the king's name, but to shield the very doctors who had ceaselessly supplied him with this lethal arsenal of substances. This is where the name Dr. George Nichopoulos, infamously known as Dr. Nick, enters the chilling narrative. He had served as Elvis's personal physician since 1967, a decade-long relationship that would prove tragically fatal. In the mere 8 months preceding Elvis's untimely death, from January to August 1977, Dr. Nick had penned prescriptions for an astronomical sum, over 10,000 pills, a terrifying medley of sedatives, amphetamines, and painkillers. The preceding year had been equally egregious, with nearly 19,000 pills dispensed in 1976 alone. Subsequent investigations laid bare the horrifying truth. In those final 8 months, Elvis had received a staggering 195 prescriptions, an average of 1 prescription every day and a half. When confronted with this overwhelming evidence, Dr. Nick, astonishingly, did not deny his actions. Instead, he mounted a defense that bordered on the surreal, asserting he was merely practicing a desperate form of harm reduction. His twisted logic dictated that Elvis was already inextricably caught in the vice grip of addiction, and his only recourse was to control the supply through legal channels, to prevent him from resorting to dangerous street drugs. If I hadn't given them to him, he would have gotten them somewhere else, he chillingly rationalized to medical boards. He even claimed he was attempting to gradually wean Elvis off the harmful substances while meticulously monitoring his condition. Incredibly, a jury believed his audacious claims, clearing him of criminal responsibility in the king's death. Yet the insidious shadow of his overprescribing continued to dog him. By 1980, he faced renewed scrutiny not just for Elvis, but for a disturbing pattern of overprescribing to other luminaries, including Jerry Lee Lewis. Finally, in 1995, the Tennessee Board of Medical Examiners, having witnessed enough of this dangerous charade, revoked his medical license permanently, citing a dangerous pattern of overprescribing that had claimed lives and shattered legacies. Then in 2020, a bombshell detonated, adding yet another layer of disquieting complexity to Elvis's tragic end. Author Sally A. Hodel published her explosive book, Destined to Die Young, which posited a radical new theory. Hodel argued that Elvis's death was not in fact solely due to his rampant addiction, but rather a tragic culmination of pre-existing genetic heart conditions and chronic health issues, tragically masked and exacerbated by his relentless reliance on prescription drugs. According to her meticulous research, Elvis suffered from alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, a devastating disorder impacting the lungs and liver, and likely possessed a compromised immune system which would account for his perpetual illnesses and reliance on medication. If Hodel's claims held true, then the entire narrative of Elvis as a self-destructive addict might be profoundly flawed. Perhaps he wasn't intentionally destroying himself, but desperately striving to survive, to manage unbearable, agonizing pain in the only way he knew how. His numerous hospitalizations, often dismissed as mere attempts to secure more pills, might have been genuine medical emergencies. This seismic reinterpretation of Elvis's final years begs an even more profound, unsettling question. If his drug use was so fundamentally misunderstood for decades, what did the Presley family truly know about his agonizing condition? And what precisely were they so desperately hiding in that attic for nearly half a century, a secret so profoundly personal, so damningly revealing that it could not be shared with a world hungry for answers? In the wake of Elvis's death, a funeral fit for a king unfolded, yet a castle sealed its doors. The day after his passing, a literal tidal wave of grief inundated Memphis. Nearly 100,000 distraught fans descended upon the gates of Graceland, consumed by a desperate, agonizing need for one final fleeting glimpse of their king. His body, meticulously dressed in a pristine white suit and a vibrant blue shirt, lay in state for public viewing, an image forever burned into the hearts of those who bore witness to the tragic tableau. On August 18, 1977, the funeral procession commenced, a solemn, majestic parade of 17 gleaming white Cadillacs that glided through the city streets, forming a royal escort befitting rock and roll royalty. Among the sea of mourners were legendary figures: James Brown, Sammy Davis Jr., Caroline Kennedy, and of course the shattered remnants of his immediate family, Priscilla, Lisa Marie, and his heartbroken father, Vernon Presley. Elvis was finally laid to rest beside his beloved mother Gladys at Forest Hill Cemetery, a place where the family hoped he would at last find an eternal, undisturbed peace. But that peace so desperately sought was violently shattered. A mere 2 days later, a bizarre and chilling event sent shockwaves of terror through the already devastated Presley family. A clandestine group of men driven by a perverse and audacious motive attempted to desecrate the sanctity of his final resting place. Their objective: to steal Elvis's coffin in a botched, grotesque ransom scheme. They failed, thankfully, only managing to damage a part of the tomb before their capture. They were charged solely with trespassing, yet the chilling message they delivered was unmistakably clear. Even in death, Elvis was not safe. Vernon Presley, utterly crushed by this grotesque affront, refused to countenance any further risk. A bold, decisive, and highly secretive decision was made. With the clandestine assistance of the police, Elvis and Gladys were quietly, discreetly reinterred. In the dead of night, they were buried again, this time within the impregnable walls of Graceland itself, inside the serene meditation garden that Elvis himself had meticulously created. This single, desperate act transformed Graceland once more. It was no longer merely a home or a memorial. It became a veritable fortress. After Elvis's death, Vernon Presley moved quickly to secure Graceland. Alarms were upgraded, guards posted 24/7, and key parts of the mansion were sealed off, most notably the entire second floor and even more mysteriously the attic above it. The official reason? Privacy. Elvis's bedroom and the bathroom where he died were to remain untouched, a gesture of respect, the family claimed. But over time, that explanation wore thin. When Graceland opened to the public in 1982, fans could explore nearly every inch of the home, except the upstairs. The staircase was roped off, and the attic door remained firmly locked. Even presidents weren't allowed past that point. Tour guides repeated the same line: "The upstairs is private." And so it stayed for 48 long years. No one climbed those stairs. No one touched that door. It became part of the legend, a locked vault of unanswered questions and whispers. Visitors stared at Elvis's gold records and glittering jumpsuits, but their eyes always drifted upward, wondering what could be so secret, so disturbing, that it had to stay hidden. In Graceland, Castle of Mysteries. In 1957, a young Elvis Presley, barely 22 years old and already an incandescent superstar, acquired a stately mansion on the outskirts of Memphis. The price, a mere $102,500, translates to nearly $1 million in today's currency, a stark contrast to the immeasurable value it would come to hold. He embraced its existing name, Graceland, and it quickly transcended being just a home. It became his sanctuary, his opulent palace, his sprawling playground. The estate itself was a vibrant tapestry of life, stretching across almost 14 acres. It boasted sprawling barns, robust stables, and pastures where horses roamed freely, embodying a wild, untamed spirit. Among its most eccentric and beloved residents was an incredibly mischievous chimpanzee named Scatter. Elvis would dress this simian companion in tiny clothes, orchestrating elaborate pranks that left visitors questioning who truly held dominion over the estate. Staff members would often remark that Scatter mirrored Elvis's own untamed, wild side, a facet he rarely exposed to the public eye. By 1964, as the world watched the seismic rise of the Beatles, Elvis, ever the paradox, crafted a quiet, introspective haven within his extravagant domain, the meditation garden. This serene corner, adorned with vibrant flowers, cascading fountains, and imposing white columns beneath the vast Tennessee sky, was a stark counterpoint to his explosive stage persona. But Graceland was a mansion of many faces. Beyond the quietude of the garden, rooms like the Jungle Room screamed with playful excess, boasting green shag carpets that climbed walls and furniture seemingly plucked from a distant, exotic island. In the basement, a cutting-edge TV room allowed him to watch 3 shows simultaneously, an unparalleled luxury in the 1960s. Even the racquetball building held a poignant secret, a piano upon which Elvis played his final, haunting melodies just hours before his passing. The attic unlocked. On a cold morning in January 2025, a small, reverent group of archivists, their hands encased in pristine white gloves, began their ascent. They climbed the narrow, creaking stairs that led to the attic at Graceland, their footsteps echoing eerily in the oppressive silence of a space untouched since August 1977. The air was thick, heavy with layers of dust, undisturbed for almost half a century, bearing witness to the relentless march of time. A single bare bulb cast a dim, ghostly glow upon the lock as the lead archivist, with a trembling hand, gently turned an ancient brass key, a relic that had remained in the Presley family's possession since Elvis's death. The door groaned open, a tortured sound, as if it had been holding its breath for decades, guarding its sacred trust. As the first shafts of light pierced the long-held darkness, spilling into the room for the first time in nearly half a century, a profound silence descended upon the group. This was no mere dusty storage space. It was, with chilling clarity, a meticulously preserved time capsule. It was as if Elvis himself, or someone intimately close to him, had painstakingly organized the attic into distinct sections, each a silent narrator of a different, crucial chapter of his extraordinary, often tragic life. The space itself was far vaster than anyone had anticipated, stretching expansively across the entire upper reaches of the house, punctuated by dormer windows shrouded by thick blackout curtains. Unlike the extravagant, often flamboyant decor of the rest of Graceland, the attic was stark in its simplicity, with plain wooden walls and bare floors. Yet it remained strangely cool, a testament to a small air conditioner that, unbelievably, had been kept running all these years by Graceland's maintenance crew, without ever once breaching the attic's sealed threshold. Along one wall, dozens of boxes stood in silent sentinel, each meticulously labeled in Elvis's own distinctive handwriting. The labels told a haunting story. Tupelo, 1945. First recordings, Army Days, Hollywood, Comeback Special, and Vegas. It was a deeply personal timeline, a meticulously crafted autobiography of his own life. But one box in particular resonated with a chilling, profound weight. It was marked simply after, dated 1977, the year his vibrant light was tragically extinguished. The archivists commenced their sacred, delicate work. Every item was painstakingly photographed before being touched. Each box received its unique numerical designation, and its contents were meticulously catalogued as if preparing for a solemn museum exhibit. The process, they knew, would consume months, perhaps even years. Yet certain items immediately seized their attention, arresting them with their raw, emotional power. In the Tupelo section, a wave of emotion swept over the room. There, nestled among old belongings, lay a tattered teddy bear, missing one eye, covered in patched fabric. But this wasn't just any toy. It was Bear, Elvis's beloved childhood companion. Family records confirmed it. His mother, Gladys, had lovingly stitched the patches herself, using scraps of her own worn clothing, faded floral prints, still visible on the bear's chest and arms. During the dark days of 1938, when Vernon Presley was jailed and Gladys and young Elvis were left in poverty, this bear was his only source of comfort. More than a toy, it was a symbol of survival and of a boy who had once known fear and fragility long before fame consumed him. Then came the Army Days section, where a worn Bible surfaced, its spine bound with electrical tape, its pages softened from years of use. This sacred book had belonged to Gladys, gifted to Elvis when he joined the army in 1958. Inside the cover, she had penned a heartfelt note, urging him to cling to his faith. Elvis had filled its margins with underlined verses, personal notes, and quiet prayers. One final entry stood out. Dated August 1977, days before his death, he had marked Psalm 23, the Shepherd's Psalm. It was a haunting glimpse into his soul, a reminder of the man behind the legend, still reaching for peace. Perhaps the most poignant discovery was a leather-bound yearbook from Elvis's days at Humes High School in Memphis. Known then for his shyness and mocked for his quirky clothes and style, Elvis rarely signed yearbooks, yet this one was filled with classmates' notes, messages of encouragement, warmth, and one that now feels eerily prophetic. "Keep singing, Elvis. You're going places." These weren't fan memorabilia. They were private treasures, kept not for the world, but for Elvis himself, the man, not the myth. Lisa Marie Presley once quietly said, "It's comforting I can come here anytime and rummage through the boxes." In that one simple line, the attic's true purpose was revealed. Not just storage, but a hidden sanctuary. Among dusty paper and worn fabric, the myth of Elvis, glittering, untouchable, faded. In its place, a far more human figure emerged. Complex, vulnerable, and heartbreakingly real. The Hollywood section of the attic presented a different, equally poignant facet of Elvis's life, his suffocating struggle with the relentless grip of fame. Among the movie memorabilia lay a leather jacket meticulously tailored for his iconic role in Jailhouse Rock, but carrying a chilling, secret inscription. Tucked inside one pocket was a small, handwritten note that read, "Wear this when you need to disappear." Elvis had frequently voiced his profound feeling of being trapped, inextricably bound by his celebrity persona, unable to reclaim even a semblance of a normal life. This jacket then became a potent symbol of his desperate yearning for anonymity, a fleeting escape from the suffocating spotlight just long enough to breathe. Next to these cinematic relics lay a stack of books, their presence defying common expectations of the king. These were not dime novels or fan magazines. They were weighty tomes on Eastern beliefs, profound religious texts, and philosophical explorations of life's grandest questions. Even the enigma of what transpires after death. Many of their pages were underlined, their margins filled with his handwritten notes, a silent testament to a man in deep existential search for answers, a spiritual quest far beyond the gospel hymns he so famously sang. It was a glimpse into a private, introspective Elvis few had ever imagined. Then in the Vegas section, the archivists stumbled upon something that froze them in their tracks, a revelation that pierced the decades of silence with terrifying clarity. It was a doctor's report from 1974, starkly marked confidential. Its full contents, out of respect for the family, remain agonizingly sealed, pending their review. But the cover alone spoke volumes, mentioning unequivocally heart problems and a stark, urgent directive for Elvis to implement big lifestyle changes. Yet the tragic truth was, he continued to perform relentlessly for 3 more years after that damning diagnosis. This chilling discovery lends harrowing credence to Sally Hodell's theory of Elvis's genetic predispositions, intertwining his perceived addiction with a deeply buried physical reality. Lisa Marie Presley, it was known, had been aware of the attic's secrets but had chosen with profound reverence to honor her father's wish for privacy during her lifetime. However, after her own untimely passing in 2023, Riley Keough made the agonizing, courageous decision that the time had come, not necessarily to unveil everything to the world, but to meticulously document what lay within. The attic, then, did not conceal an escape plan, as conspiracy theorists had wildly speculated. Instead, it held the aching heart of a man who perhaps knew his time was brutally short, a man who took meticulous, painstaking care in shaping how the world would remember him. The most chilling, profoundly personal discovery within the attic's dusty confines were recordings that no one, outside perhaps a select few, knew existed. Among the dust-covered treasures, archivists unearthed a single, unassuming box, its fading ink label reading simply, "Practice Sessions 1976." Inside lay reel-to-reel tapes, untouched, unheard, for nearly 50 years. What they contained left the room shrouded in a reverent, mournful silence. These were not the polished, commercially produced recordings or pristine studio takes the world knew. They were raw, intimately vulnerable rehearsals. It was just Elvis, alone, experimenting freely, his voice exploring gospel hymns, soulful blues riffs, and even early synthesizer sounds, hinting at a revolutionary musical direction he tragically never lived to explore. But one tape, above all others, stood out with a heartbreaking, visceral power. On it, Elvis performed a stripped-down, deeply haunting version of Unchained Melody. There were no instruments, no background vocals, just the raw, unadulterated power of his voice, cracking, trembling, aching with an almost unbearable emotion. It had been recorded just months before he passed, a premonition perhaps of his impending end. It transcended mere music. It was a confession in melody, a farewell wrapped in the deepest heartbreak. His voice facing his own mortality through song. Every crack in his voice, every tremor conveyed a profound truth. He wasn't merely performing, he was feeling deeply every single word. As the archivists continued their somber excavation, they unearthed items far more personal than any sequined stage outfits. Handwritten lyrics, scribbled on ordinary napkins, hotel stationery, and torn notebook pages. Some bore the marks of artistic struggle, lines crossed out, ideas discarded. Others contained tiny, intimate notes to himself, secret thoughts made manifest. One sheet even held alternative lyrics to "Suspicious Minds," a version that never saw the light of day, offering a rare, unguarded glimpse into the intricate workings of his mind. Perhaps the most heartbreaking discovery was a pile of unopened fan mail, letters frozen in time, still sealed in their original envelopes. Among them were thank yous from soldiers overseas, grieving families finding solace in his music, and hopeful young musicians seeking his wisdom. But one letter, postmarked 1976, stopped everyone cold. It was a desperate plea from fans, begging Elvis to cancel his exhausting tour for the sake of his health. He never read it. It sat there untouched, just like so many warnings that went unheeded. That single, unread letter became a chilling symbol of what might have been had someone truly listened. These attic items revealed a side of Elvis no biography could capture, a man of immense talent, weighed down by unbearable solitude. He clung to his childhood teddy bear, his mother's Bible, and pushed the limits of his music even as his body for half a century. The truth they tried to bury. While the locked attic held its tangible secrets out of reach, something far more unsettling was hiding in plain sight, a truth stubbornly refusing to remain buried. The full, agonizing story of how the king of rock and roll truly perished. For years, the official narrative held sway, but dissenting voices grew louder, fueled by leaked reports and persistent questions. The toxicology report, when it eventually pierced through the carefully constructed veil of silence, painted a disturbing picture of a system ravaged by powerful drugs. The doctor who had so brazenly claimed he was saving Elvis, Dr. Nick, faced his own reckoning, his medical license ultimately revoked. The unsettling question lingered. Was someone desperately trying to keep the truth hidden forever, or was someone finally trying to tear open the festering wound and bring it into the harsh light of day? Because YouTube will prioritize interactive videos, please comment OK if you find this video interesting. Thank you. In 2024, tensions at Graceland exploded when a mysterious company, Norsani Investments and Private Lending LLC, suddenly claimed Elvis's legendary estate was up for auction. Their allegation? That Riley Keough, Elvis's granddaughter and sole trustee of the Promenade Trust, had defaulted on a loan. The news sent shockwaves through Memphis and Elvis fans worldwide. Could the king's sacred home truly be ripped away? Riley acted fast, filing a fierce lawsuit accusing the company of fraud and forgery, a calculated scheme to steal her family's legacy. The drama built to a courtroom climax. Just one day before the auction, a Tennessee judge slammed on the brakes, declaring Graceland a one-of-a-kind cultural asset whose loss would cause irreparable harm. Strangely, no one from Norsani even showed up to defend their claim. The ruling saved Graceland for now, but the scare left a chilling thought behind. What if the court hadn't stepped in? What if the estate had fallen into private hands? Would the attic, the most tightly guarded mystery in Graceland, have finally been forced open, revealing a secret the Presley family had fought to bury for decades? The attempt to seize Graceland in 2024 wasn't the first time the mansion was pulled into strange and haunting drama. Ever since Elvis's death in 1977, Graceland had become the epicenter of one of the most bizarre celebrity conspiracy theories in history, the belief that Elvis never actually died. It began just hours after his death was announced. At the Memphis airport, a man resembling Elvis, using the alias John Burroughs, a name Elvis was known to use, allegedly bought a one-way ticket to Buenos Aires. He wore a white suit and dark sunglasses. Days later, a woman in Michigan swore Elvis served her at a Burger King, recognizing his voice when he asked about extra cheese. What started as isolated rumors grew into a national obsession. By 1979, sightings flooded in, Elvis pumping gas in Oklahoma, shopping in Missouri, or attending concerts in disguise. The frenzy reached such heights that in 1988, Weekly World News created an ongoing column called Elvis Watch, dedicated entirely to these eerie reports. The myth refused to die, just like the king himself. Over time, Elvis conspiracy theories grew wilder and darker. Some claimed he helped the FBI take down the mafia, then vanished into witness protection. Others believed he faked his death to escape the crushing weight of fame. A more somber rumor suggested he had terminal cancer and chose to die in peace, far from the spotlight. Fans pointed to strange details surrounding his funeral: the 900-pound casket, the closed casket after a public viewing, and most famously, the gravestone spelling Aaron instead of Aaron, a mistake his family, they argued, would never make unless Elvis wasn't truly buried there. With the rise of the internet, these theories exploded. In the 2000s, entire websites emerged to prove he was alive. YouTube videos compared Elvis's voice to that of a preacher named Bob Joyce, whose eerie vocal resemblance only fueled the fire. Even in 2025, nearly 5 decades later, online communities still speculate: is he living quietly under a new name? Does he secretly return to Graceland in disguise? For the Presley family, these stories have always been a delicate curse. Deny too forcefully, and it looks like a cover-up. Stay silent, and the myths spiral unchecked. But beneath the fantasies lies something more painful. These legends deflect attention from a harsher reality, that Elvis's death may have been preventable. Many believe he was failed by those closest to him who chose profit over his well-being, and the fantasy that he's still alive sadly lets them off the hook. But with the threat of Graceland's seizure looming, Riley Keough spurred by the judge's intervention and perhaps by a new generation's desire for transparency, made a bold, unprecedented move. She finally granted permission to unlock the long-forbidden attic. What unspeakable, deeply personal secrets had been meticulously hidden there for nearly 50 years? Body gave out. Who's inside is shocking. For many, these discoveries brought closure. Nothing was random. Every item was kept with care, as if Elvis had silently preserved his truest self in that attic. But for others, it raised deeper questions. Why were these personal treasures hidden for so long? And what else, still locked away in Graceland's shadows, might complete the story of the man behind the myth? The initial query, who's inside is shocking, now reveals its true, figurative meaning. It was not a living person hiding in the attic. The shocking who was the real Elvis Presley, the vulnerable, complex, deeply human man, stripped bare of his rhinestone-studded facade and the crushing weight of his kingly crown. It was the soul of a man the world never stopped loving, the pieces of a man the world thought it already knew. It was the profound, quiet traces of the boy who existed before the king, the worn-out teddy bear from Tupelo, patched with his mother's love, the Bible, gifted by Gladys, its pages imbued with his handwritten prayers and existential questions, the high school yearbook filled with the simple, earnest hopes of classmates who knew him before fame swallowed his very name whole, the leather jacket, a symbol of his desperate desire to disappear from the relentless spotlight, the unchained melody recording a raw, trembling farewell wrapped in a heartbreaking melody, the unopened fan letters, silent accusations of a life unheeded. This was the shocking human being within the attic, a man far more fragile, more complicated and achingly real than the world had ever been allowed to see. And so, after nearly half a century behind locked doors and whispers, the attic of Graceland has finally spoken. Not with fanfare, but with quiet heartbreak. What it revealed was not a scandal, not a ghost, but something far more powerful, a man the world thought it knew yet never truly saw. Elvis Presley wasn't hiding from the world in that attic. He was waiting to be understood. Every item, every dusty box was a whisper from the past, a testament to a life lived in extremes, of greatness shadowed by loneliness, of a king who never stopped yearning to be heard beyond the noise. Now with the attic finally open, maybe, just maybe, the world can stop asking if Elvis lives and start understanding how he truly lived and why he fell. These abandoned celebrity mansions serve as haunting reminders that even the brightest fame and the most immense fortune cannot solve all of life's problems. They are poignant monuments to the universal truths that resonate with us all. The fear of decay, of being forgotten, and the inescapable cycle of life and loss. If you've been captivated by these hidden stories and found yourself drawn into the mysterious world of abandoned celebrity homes, please hit the like button on this video and subscribe to our Iconic Inside channel. Don't miss out on more profound insights into the luxurious and enigmatic lives of the famous and the often tragic secrets they leave behind. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.